The other day I did my best laptops of 2024 video. Today we're talking about the best phones of 2024, and this is going to be geared towards North America, Canada, and the United States. I apologize to my global viewers. I haven't reviewed a lot of global phones throughout 2024, so it wouldn't be really fair to recommend devices I haven't tested. I'm going to change that for 2025 though. There are so many other good phones out there that deserve to be reviewed, and I promise I'll make the change. But look, this is gonna be done by price point, okay? So no matter what budget you're in, I'm gonna pick the best one for you. Now for under $400, there's a few phones you can choose from, but I think the best one for most people is the Pixel 7a. Now I've reviewed this a couple of years ago. It does have decent performance. Even now in 2024, I wouldn't buy it if you're gonna make it a gaming phone. There's other chips out there that are a bit faster, but for everyday use, the chip, the G2, is absolutely solid. It has good build quality. It has wireless charging. It has 4 years left of updates. And most importantly, it has above average cameras. For $400 and less, there's not a lot of other phones out there that can take pictures as good as the Pixel 7a. Now for under $500, you can make the case for two phones, the OnePlus 12R or the Pixel A. But personally, I think the OnePlus 12R makes a lot more sense. You're getting a device that has outstanding performance with a Snapdragon 8 Gen 2. It has a big 45 milliamp hour battery, which gets you insanely good battery life, a day and a half without having to worry about charging. The display is super bright, it's colorful, it's big at 6.78 inches, it's 120 hertz, and even has 3 cameras on the back. Now the cameras are obviously not as good as the Pixel 7a or even the Pixel 8a, but everything else that comes with the phone just makes it a solid package. Now you do have 4 years of updates and 5 years of security, and I think the only reason to go for the Pixel 8a instead is if you want the best camera possible for under 500 bucks. For under 600 bucks, I'm giving it to the iPhone 14. This is a device that has solid cameras. It gets you access to Apple's ecosystem. Very important if you're already in it. If you have a MacBook Air, an iPad, or even a Mac Studio or Mac Mini, this is gonna pair up nicely with it. You can do things like AirDrop and have your devices communicate perfectly. The battery life is absolutely solid. You have new video features like action mode. And the A15, even today, is still faster than a lot of high-end Android chips from previous years. Now, the only downfall to this phone is there's no optical zoom and you still get a 60 hertz refresh rate. And if that's something that's gonna bother you, then I'd probably look at something like the Nothing Phone 2. Now this thing retails for about $549, and yeah, it's a couple years old, but you still get a 6.7-inch AMOLED display, 1080p. You have an adaptive 120 hertz refresh rate. You have one of the best looking Android UIs on the market, period, and a very good haptic motor. The only downfall to this device is that the updates won't be as long as the Apple phone and the cameras are not as great. But for this category, the iPhone 14 wins. Under 700 bucks, it really goes to the Samsung Galaxy S24 FE. Now, this is a phone that gives you 7 years of software support. You're gonna get the new version of One UI 7 when it comes out, and it pretty much is almost identical to the Galaxy S24, which is something that couldn't be said for last year's S23 FE. That phone just wasn't really worth it, but this year, more so now than ever. You get a big, beautiful 6.7-inch Full HD Plus display. It's bright and very vibrant. I know some people might not be happy about the Exynos 2400E processor, but look, it's actually not bad this year. It's slightly faster than the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2, and even much faster when it comes to actual GPU performance. Like if you're looking for a more mid-range phone that can play mobile games quite well, the S24 FE might be up your alley. Now for under 800 bucks, it comes down to two phones, but I'm leaning more towards the OnePlus 12. For the price point, it's just a much better deal and you get a lot more value from it. The device itself has a 6.82-inch display, it's vibrant, it's colorful, and it's super bright. You take this thing outdoors, you're gonna see everything. It has the alert slider, which a lot of people absolutely love. It feels very comfortable to hold. The camera system is average. It's definitely better than the 12R, but it's not gonna be as good as the iPhone 16. But the battery life lasts me through the entire day without any issues. Now, if you prefer an Apple product, definitely the iPhone 16. You are gonna get better cameras than the OnePlus 12. You're gonna get a lot more support. You have access to Apple Intelligence, again, if that's important to you. But I think the biggest reason with the iPhone 16 is you just get a lot more years of software support. Like Apple tends to support their devices for at least 6 or 7 years. The best flip phone? Well, I've only reviewed one this year, so this is kind of a cop-out. And I also feel flip phones this year didn't make a dent in the market. No one was really talking about them as much as they did previous years. But of course, if you live here in Canada or the US, the Galaxy Z Flip 6 is still your best option. After years and years of iteration, it has the most durable design than we've ever seen before on a Galaxy Z Flip. The performance is good, but obviously not as good as the S24 because they tend to throttle the Z Flip 6 due to its thinner form factor. It does have some cool Galaxy AI stuff that you can get on other S24 devices, and the cover screen is really nice to use if you don't feel like always opening up your smartphone. I think the reason, even today, to get a flip phone is if you just want to have a smaller device that fits in your pocket, but a bigger screen when you take it out. But foldable phones had a great year this year. Now the Z Fold 6 is definitely not on the list. I feel like Samsung is really behind in terms of design. Like, don't get me wrong, the Z Fold 6 still has fantastic software and all the features you can think of. I also think the OnePlus Open, even today, is still one of the best deals on a foldable phone you can get right now. But the winner of this category, at least here in North America, is the Pixel 9 Pro Fold. I love this thing. I can't stop using this thing. The software is incredible. It may not have the best multitasking features like the Z Fold 6 or the OnePlus Open, but it's still good enough. The 8-inch display is absolutely massive and beautiful to look at, and the outside screen being at 6.3 inches feels like a normal phone. Now, I did review the Honor Magic V3, and this is a phone I would lean towards if you're not in North America. This has the best hardware I have ever used on a foldable phone. It's thin, has insane battery life, the performance is fantastic, the outside screen is even bigger than the Pixels and feels like a normal bigger phone. It's fluid, but the software experience is not as good, so keep that in mind. Now, before I announce the best phone of 2024, we gotta talk about 3 devices. The Vivo X200 Pro got a lot of ranting and raving as being an incredible phone. I haven't reviewed it yet, but I do have it coming into the studio. And if that ends up being the best phone overall, I will announce it in my review. The Pixel 9 Pro XL, incredible phone. I love this thing, okay? It's an awesome device, but I'm worried about the longevity. These Tensor chips are usually great today, but start slowing down 3 or 4 years later. But Google absolutely nailed the hardware, the software, and the performance in 2024. The iPhone 16 Pro Max. I love this phone. Some of the best video you can think of. And if that's important to you, this might be your best phone. But I don't think it's the best phone overall. To me, it's the Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra. It just has everything you can think of. An S Pen, great cameras, good battery life. It has an anti-reflective display that I haven't seen on any other candy bar phone in 2024. This anti-reflective display is underrated. It makes a lot of sense. Your phone is constantly changing lighting environments, and having the best visual experience is done by using this coating. Now, you can put a crappy little screen protector on it and it will help, but it just doesn't look good. And I feel like I want to see more phones in 2025 adopt the same sort of technology. So the best phone of 2024 for now is the Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra. So that wraps up my best phones of 2024 video. I'll place links to all of them in the description down below. Make sure to let me know your favorites and what you feel like is the best phones of 2024. Like the video if you liked it, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in the next one.